3 weeks away, doesn't it make sense to you that any campaign story worthwhile belongs on page 1, column 8? I don't care what the poll takers say. The only votes that count are the ones that the people cast on November 6th. Yes, yeah, well, I'm glad we share the same viewpoint. I'll get back to you with what the lead should be. All right.
Thank heavens for Briggs. If it weren't for him, you'd be fighting with me all day.
Not fighting. What are you doing here?
What am I doing here? Last time I looked at the masthead of the banner, I was still a publisher.
Well, I know that, but I figured you'd be at home preparing for the return of the prodigal.
What's to prepare?
Well, I assumed that you'd have a big festive dinner.
Oh, my dear, I leave that to Cook. She does that so much better than I do.
Oh.
But then there is the guest list. Should I invite Becky and Asa?
Sweetheart, have you forgotten the incident with Becky's costume?
Of course, I haven't forgotten it. I know that. But Tina was very jealous of Becky. Besides, it was 3 years ago. I'm sure that Becky's willing to forgive and forget.
Might be a good idea to speak to her ahead of time.
All right, I'll pop over there at lunchtime. That is, unless you have some crisis to dump in your publisher's lap.
Nothing I can't handle. Oh, while you're over there, will you look in on Rafe and give him my best?
Yeah. Oh, poor Rafe. The way he looked at the cemetery yesterday, my heart went out to him. How is Rafe?
Up and around, but still pretty rocky. Came down for some of this before breakfast.
Oh, dear. Where is he now?
He's upstairs, I think, in his room. I think I convinced him to shave and take a shower. You want me to tell him you're here?
No, actually, I came to see you. Becky, guess who's coming back to town today? No, don't guess. You'd never guess. Tina Clayton.
Tina? You're kidding me, out of the clear?
Out of the clear blue sky, she called me. Said she wanted to talk to me. Was sorry that you hadn't kept in touch. And anyway, I'd like to give a little dinner for her this evening, and I wanted to include you and Asa, but of course I know what she did to you just before she left town.
Well, oh, that's okay. I wouldn't hold that against her. It was a long time ago.
You wouldn't feel awkward about coming in?
No, not at all. I'll have to ask Asa, though. My God, Tina, how long has it been?
3 years.
So, how do you feel about that?
Oh.
I mean, after what her father did to you.
Well, you can hardly blame her for what he did, can you?
Yeah, but she was pretty loyal to him and pretty hostile to you.
I know, but she was misled and duped. We all were a little bit, weren't we? I find that I'm looking forward to her visit a little bit. I think it'll give us both a chance to make amends. No, I mean, she's my ward, and I always did treat her like my daughter, so... Is there anything I can do or say?
No, it's past words now, isn't it? Nothing anybody can do, except me.
Why don't I get you some lunch?
Whoever did this, I'm going to get them. It's a promise I made myself and Samantha. Now, if you ladies will excuse me.
Bye.
Tina? Oh, Tina, is that really you? Oh.
I called earlier. They put me on standby on your flight to see you.
Tina, how long's it been? 3 years?
About that.
Well, you've sure grown up in 3 years.
Is that good?
Well, I'd say so, wouldn't you, honey?
Indeed, I would.
I acted like a rotten kid, didn't I?
Oh, honey, come on. There were mitigating circumstances. There was your father's death and all the things you found out about
It's no excuse for the way I acted. That's the main reason I came back, to make it up to you and Clint and everybody.
When we talked on the telephone, you gave me the impression you were just passing through.
I guess I was keeping things open. I wasn't too sure of the reception I'd get.
Oh, come on.
Would you really take me back after everything that's happened?
Honey, before your mother died, she asked me to look after you as if you were my own daughter. So if you want to stay for a while...
Oh, yes.
Oh,
thank you. Thank you.
Tina, it is so good to see you again.
Well, it's good to see you, too.
You back to stay now?
We're going to leave that open-ended for now.
I bet you wish you had the West Wing for her now, don't you?
not at all. No, she's fine where she is, in the guest room down the hall from us.
Yeah, it's okay, because I'm going to be moving out pretty soon myself. Getting married.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody I know?
No, but you'll meet her soon.
Oh.
Where shall I put the luggage, madam?
In the front guest room upstairs. Thank you, Harry.
Very good.
While he's doing that, why don't I show you the gardens? All righty? Excuse us.
Okay.
We've replanted it just a little bit. And of course, you missed the growing season, but the fall colors are so gorgeous. Tina, isn't it lovely?
Oh, is this okay?
Yes, it's terrific.
It's hard to be overdressed in this house.
Oh, well, it's a little overwhelming, maybe.
No, it's fabulous.
Good.
If I tell you something, promise not to get mad at me.
Promise not to get mad at you.
Well, remember when I stayed with you in the carriage house and I found out that you really owned this place?
You thought I was out of my mind not to live here.
Right.
Well, I tell you, at the time, the carriage house was just perfect for us, and Joe preferred it that way. You see, my father built this house.
He and Uncle Joe didn't exactly get along, did they?
Well, it wasn't that they didn't get along. It's just that Joe preferred it that way. It was...
Involvement, and it's crime commission business.
Yeah. All right. There is no evidence. The block is coming from federal authorities. I would hate to think the mob has influence that far up.
What's the alternate?
Well, the alternative is that the federal authorities already have her under investigation. They don't want any interference. Or they are using her to get to somebody else I don't know. Point is, I know very little.
Go, I can't stand this waiting around. I say we contact the hotel man.
Just here to ask you why.
What did you say your name was again?
That's quite a greeting, since I just stopped by to see if you were free for lunch.
In your bedroom or mine? I can't help it. You walked through that door and I was smitten with an absolute love attack.
Well, now isn't that nice?
Yes, and then when you kissed me, it turned into rapacious desire. I know you're only supposed to get those romantic impulses after dinner when the kids are in bed, but I am free for lunch.
I'm not. Not that way. I'm having lunch with Tina.
Great. Back in town one day and already she's interfering in our lives.
Oh.
Teasing, honey, just teasing. Just teasing. I couldn't really leave my desk anyway.
You sure you're teasing? Didn't sound like it.
Well, I must admit I'm not quite as thrilled as you are that she showed up on the doorstep, but then I'm never been quite as forgiving as you have either.
Sweetheart, come on. She was a very mixed-up child 3 years ago.
I know, because of her father, but it turns out that Ted Clayton wasn't her father after all.
I know. I find that very incredible. Irene and I had this whole discussion when she knew she was dying. She begged me to take care of her child, but they never bothered to tell me that the father of the child wasn't the father.
You would think that kind of soul-cleansing confession would come out on a deathbed. Anyway, Tina is back, and Tina is going to stay until she finds out who her father is, and you're going to help her.
I really do hear an edge in your voice. Honey, I have to tell you, I am happy that she's back and that she seems to have straightened herself out emotionally.
Well, I certainly hope so. But I'll tell you what. If you're happy, I'm happy. And if you can put up with my brother living with us at land fair, then I guess I can put up with Tina living with us.
Thank you.
I sure hope she builds some kind of social life for herself so she doesn't camp out in the library every evening after dinner.
Actually, that's a very good idea.
What?
I'll plan a little dinner party, and then she can meet some people her own age. Kathy and O'Danny and Joy O'Neill, etc.
That is a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I thought of it, though.
Well, I'm going to bring it up to her this afternoon. I am sorry you cannot join us for lunch, even if you're not. And I have to go now.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to go back to work.
So how about after lunch? Why don't we sneak away then?
How about after dinner tonight when all 3 kids are in bed?
I think you just made this cowboy an offer he can't refuse.
Bye-bye.
Yes, Ellen? Yeah, send her in.
Hi, Clint.
Hello, Tina. If you're looking for Vicky,
I'm meeting her in her office. I just dropped by to say hello to you for a minute if you got one.
Oh, well, sure. Have a seat. Care for some coffee?
No, thank you. Vicky told you what I'm doing in Landview?
Yeah, to find out who your father is, since it turns out Ted Clayton wasn't.
I'm hoping that will make a difference to you.
To me?
Clint, I'm not blaming you, but you've been very cruel to me, and...
No, wait a minute. I never blamed you for what Clayton did to Vicky and put her through, but there were some problems that Clayton didn't cause.
I was a mixed-up little girl who just lost her mother. And when someone came along who supposedly loved me and wanted to take care of me...
All right, I can understand that. And I suppose it was just as rough on you as it was on the rest of us. I hope you've grown past it.
I have.
Great.
Forgive me?
If you're asking me, will I give you another chance? Of course.
Good.
Oh,
Clint,
I can come back, Clint.
No. Come on in. Say hello to somebody you used to know.
Ah,
Hi.
Tina, yes, I heard you were coming back to town. How are you?
Good.
What you been doing the last few years?
Business school. I am now a highly qualified executive secretary.
Ah, well, good for you. Clint, I just wanted to tell you there's nothing new to report on Marco's efforts so far.
Marco Dane? How is he?
The same. Perpetually the same.
Are you and Marco still together?
No. We went the way of most relationships these days, sort of straight to the end with very little middle.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no need to be.
Excuse me, ladies. Edwina, do you know if Marco at least has some kind of a lead on the person he's investigating?
Yes, we should know some more by tonight.
You gave Marco Dane a job on the Banner?
Not exactly. Tina, it's not really something I can go into, but Marco is helping out the police on a certain matter, and we're trying to get the exclusive on it.
Well, I didn't mean to pry. I'm sorry. It's just investigations have become fascinating to me. I was even thinking of going into journalism myself. Do you have any more openings for investigative reporters?
Well, around here right now, I don't have any openings. Wait a minute, unless you'd like to help Vicky do some research for the 50th anniversary issue.
I don't think that's really for me. After I have lunch with Vicky, I'll pick up a copy of the Banner and look through their classifieds, and maybe I'll come up with something a little more challenging.
Challenging. Well, best of luck. Meanwhile, I'll see you this evening at the house.
Okay. You seen you around?
Yes, nice to see you again.
Bye.
Did she really think you were just going to hand her a job as an investigative reporter?
Sort of sounded like that, didn't it?
Is she living at Landfair?
Yes, Vicky invited her. She's very happy that Tina's back.
You don't sound very enthusiastic about it.
Well, let's just say I'd like to have a little more proof that Tina is no longer a destructive little girl.
Self-destructive, too, as I recall.
Yeah. Well, back to Marco.
Yes, well, Jinx Rollins does work at the Crown Hotel in San Carlos, and they hope to catch up with her sometime this evening.
They?
Yeah, Rafe has taken a leave of absence and went down with Marco to join the hunt.
Olivia Newton-John, the biggest movie musical in history. There's never been a school like Rydell High, and there's never been a movie like Grease. Tonight at 8, 7, Central and Mountain.
Tomorrow, someone is knocking off criminals as soon as they're freed from jail. And Mac and Andy take deadly risks to find him on Hawaiian Heat. Then Houston and CJ infiltrate a religious cult to rescue a millionaires and end up as prisoners on Matt Houston. Has Jimmy Lee's greed cost him Lorena's love? Stay tuned for General Hospital following an ABC News brief next.